So imagine you're standing on the deck of a luxury cruise ship.
Right out in the middle of the Caribbean.
Exactly. You are wearing what can really only be described as like casual chic attire.
Naturally.
Yeah, and the ocean breeze is blowing. You've got this sugar-free, gluten-free mocktail in one hand.
Oh, very specific.
Totally. And the sun is just starting to set over the water, right?
Yeah.
You are perfectly primed for that universal vacation experience.
You mean the complete mental shutdown?
Yes, the total brain-off vacation mode.
Yeah.
But then this celebrity hairstylist leans in,
Okay.
and he hands you a green apple for seasickness, looks you dead in the eye, and asks you this terrifying question.
Which
He
is?
says, are you ready to build an empire, or are you going to die on the salon floor?
Wow. I mean, that is just a profoundly jarring collision of worlds right there.
Right. It blows my mind.
Because you have the ultimate symbol of leisure, a Caribbean cruise. And it's just slamming headfirst into the extreme high-stakes pressure of entrepreneurial hustle.
And that collision is exactly what we're plunging into today for this deep dive.
Yeah, it's a fascinating one.
It really is. We are looking at a highly detailed, incredibly specific promotional and logistical package.
Right, for an event called Beauty Industry Cruises.
Exactly. And this isn't just some hypothetical scenario or a concept. This is a real, meticulously planned operation.
Yeah, set to take place aboard this massive ship called the Valiant Lady.
Which is sailing from May 6th to May 10th in 2027.
And, just the fact that they are organizing this level of detail for 2027 speaks volumes.
Really, it shows the scale.
Right, the scale and the sheer ambition of the undertaking. I mean, we are looking at a document that is part travel brochure, part corporate manifesto, and part psychological gauntlet, really.
Psychological gauntlet is the perfect way to phrase it. But let's actually map out the physical geography of this gauntlet first before we get into the psychology.
Good idea.
So it's a 4-night journey. Day 1, you are in Miami. The ship departs at 5:00 p.m.
That classic golden hour departure.
Yeah, exactly. Then day 2, you wake up docked in Key West, Florida.
Nice.
You get a full day there, like 8:00 a.m. to 5:00 p.m. But day 3 is where the architecture of this whole trip really reveals itself.
Because they're entirely at sea.
Yes, floating out in international waters. And they explicitly labeled this day as Education Day.
Which I have to say is a brilliant use of geographical isolation.
Oh, how so?
Well, by putting Education Day out on the open ocean, the organizers are creating a totally captive audience.
Oh, right. You literally can't leave.
Exactly. There is nowhere to escape to. You cannot wander off to a local cafe or, decide to skip the afternoon session to go shopping in town.
You're stuck on the boat.
Right. The environment forces deep immersion. You have to engage.
That makes so much sense. So then on day 4, they release that pressure valve a bit. The ship arrives at the beach club at Bimini in the Bahamas.
Okay, so a full day on the sand.
Yeah. And finally, day 5, the Valiant Lady pulls back into Miami at 6:30 a.m.
Wow, early.
Very early. And the instructions actually say to allow an hour for the gangway to open, which basically dumps everyone right back into the real world.
So on its surface, I mean, if you just glance at the ports of call, it reads like standard tourism.
Yeah, it looks like a normal vacation.
Right. It's a familiar, well-trodden route designed for mass relaxation.
But the mission of our deep dive today isn't to, evaluate the thread count of the cabin sheets.
Or debate the merits of Key West versus Bimini.
Right. We are here to unpack how a standard vacation itinerary is being masterfully, almost surgically, repackaged as a business acceleration retreat.
And what is genuinely fascinating here is the underlying theme that is pulsing through, honestly, every single page of this promotional material.
Oh, absolutely.
Because we are witnessing the aggressive professionalization and elevation of a very specific trade.
Yes, the beauty industry.
Exactly. This text reveals a crossroads of luxury travel, curated networking, and modern business theory. And it's all precisely tailored for beauty professionals.
Like hairstylists, estheticians, salon owners, educators.
Right.
So, okay, let's unpack this. Let's pull the curtain back on the language they use because it is intense.
Very intense.
Like if you get a flyer for a dental convention in Omaha.
Sure.
It says something like, join us for 3 days of continuing education credits and a nice dinner.
Standard corporate copy.
Right. But this cruise material, it says, and I'm quoting here, we're not planning a trip. We're building a movement.
A movement.
A movement. I mean, whoa.
The choice of the word movement is actually sociologically significant.
Really? How so?
Well, a movement implies a shared grievance,
Yeah.
right? And a collective push toward a revolution.
Oh, that makes sense.
And historically, the beauty industry has been categorized, often quite dismissively, as purely service-based or vocational.
Yeah, like, oh, you do hair?
Exactly. The societal narrative has long been, you perform a physical service with your hands, you get paid an hourly rate or a commission, and that is the extent of your economic value.
Yeah, it's kind of a blue-collar framing of what is essentially a creative field.
Precisely. And the marketing copy here is actively trying to rewrite the DNA of that professional identity.
I can see that.
Because they follow up the word movement with a highly targeted phrase. They say it's for the beauty pros who know they're meant for more than the salon floor.
Man, that phrase hit me so hard when I read it. Meant for more than the salon floor.
It's powerful.
It instantly validates this like latent, burning ambition, But it also creates this really aggressive in-group and out-group dynamic.
How do you mean?
Well, because right after they validate you, they drop this challenge. They say, not everyone is ready for this level, are you?
Ah, yes. It is a classic psychological filter.
Yeah.
Yes. By phrasing it as a question of readiness, they are implying that the event itself is a threshold.
Right, like a test.
Exactly. If you hesitate, you are mentally placing yourself in the outgroup. You're part of the people who are just content to sweep up hair and clock out.
But if you say yes.
If you step forward and book, you are instantly adopting a new identity. You are identifying as top tier.
I was trying to figure out what this reminded me of, and it's like an elite sports training camp.
Oh, I like that analogy. Go on.
Imagine a scout walking up to a group of, like, minor league baseball players. These guys are grinding away in the dirt. They're exhausted, eating cheap food, riding terrible buses.
Right, the grind.
Yeah. And the scout taps one of them on the shoulder and says, hey, we've got a secret locker room.
Okay.
It's hidden away. It's got the best equipment in the world, and it's just for the all-stars.
Yeah.
But we aren't just going to teach you how to hit a fastball. We're going to teach you how to buy the team.
Oh, wow.
Right. But I have to ask, how does just being invited to the locker room actually change the player? Like, does the invite itself do something?
Actually, what you are describing touches on a well-documented psychological phenomenon. It's known as the Pygmalion effect.
The Pygmalion effect, what is that?
It's a type of self-fulfilling prophecy. Basically, it means that high expectations lead to improved performance.
Oh.
So when a figure of authority, or in this case, a luxury brand and a community of peers, treats you as an elite visionary, you begin to internalize those traits.
So you start acting like an elite visionary because they told you that you are one.
Precisely. You start making decisions based on the identity of the person you are expected to become, rather than the person you currently are.
That is wild. And, the source material actually features a welcome message that leans so heavily into this.
The one from the captain.
Yeah. It's from the cruise event captain, who is this celebrity hairstylist who goes by B-Rad.
B-Rad.
Yeah, B-Rad. He explicitly commands the attendees, and I quote, so don't just relax, engage.
On a luxury cruise ship.
Exactly, on a cruise. He is issuing a mandate to hustle. He tells them to, quote, position yourself in the rooms that move your business forward. You made the decision to be here. Now maximize it.
Which really connects to a profound shift they are trying to engineer here.
What kind of shift?
Well, a shift between two historically opposed concepts, the artist and the entrepreneur.
Right.
The promotional text explicitly states that this event is built for artists who think like entrepreneurs.
Yeah, and those two words usually sit at opposite ends of the dinner table.
Exactly. The stereotype is that the artist is passionate, chaotic, driven by the craft, and ultimately starving.
The starving artist trope.
Right, whereas the entrepreneur is seen as cold, numbers-driven, focused on scale, leverage, and selling out.
Yeah, they're the suits.
Yet, this cruise is actively demanding a synthesis of the two. They are telling the esthetician or the colorist, look, your artistry is your foundation, but your entrepreneurial mindset must be your engine.
That's a great way to put it.
And they hammer this home by focusing heavily on three specific words throughout the copy: exposure, access, influence.
Yeah, exposure, access, influence, all in one room. If you stripped away the beauty context, that sounds like a pitch for a secretive tech incubator in Silicon Valley.
Totally.
Not a trip for people who, do highlights and dermaplaning.
And that is the deliberate reframing. They are actively shifting the narrative from the physical labor of the service to the strategic accumulation of power.
Power. Wow.
Yes. They note that the connections made on the ship don't happen inside a typical salon or studio.
Because everyone there is working.
Right. They are selling proximity. Proximity to power, proximity to wealth, and proximity to celebrity stylists like Monet Everett.
Oh, right, whose name is featured really prominently in the educational materials.
Exactly.
Wait, I want to pause on that and just push back a bit.
Sure, go ahead.
Because as I was reading this, the grand promises, the "you were meant for more" rhetoric,
Yeah.
my cynical side flared up big time.
Naturally.
Is this actually a paradigm shift for an entire industry? Or is it just incredibly effective, deeply manipulative FOMO marketing?
Fear of missing out.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
They're essentially telling people your next level might be one opportunity away, and they're warning them that missing this boat literally means missing out on the room where it happens.
So you're asking if it's just a trick?
Yeah. Is it just a brilliant psychological trick to sell $500 tickets and fill up cruise cabins?
Well, it is entirely fair to view it through a lens of skepticism. And yes, it is undeniably utilizing the mechanics of FOMO marketing.
Okay, so I'm not crazy.
Not at all. However, FOMO is only effective when it taps into a genuine pre-existing void.
A void?
Yes. The beauty industry has historically lacked the kind of structured, corporate-style professional development infrastructure that other industries have.
Like what?
Well, industries like finance, tech, or even real estate have taken that stuff for granted for decades.
Oh, sure, they have retreats all the time.
Exactly. Plumbers and electricians have robust union halls. Tech developers have incubators and endless venture capital mixers.
And what do beauty professionals have?
Traditionally, trade shows and fluorescent-lit convention centers where they buy discounted scissors and watch someone cut hair on a stage.
Oh, man. Yeah, that is a stark contrast. So they've never had the boardroom experience.
Exactly. This event is stepping in to fill a very real, very deep void. The language leans aggressively on the fear of missing out, absolutely.
Right.
But the desire from these professionals to be taken seriously as business owners, to have their own Davos or their own elite mastermind, is incredibly real.
So the marketing works because the hunger is authentic.
Precisely.
Okay, I'll buy that.
Duh.
Will. But if you are promising to build an incubator on the ocean, if you are telling people they're going to learn to build empires,
Right.
you can't just hand them a schedule that says 10:00 a.m., learn to cut bangs, 12:00 p.m. buffet, 2:00 p.m. pool time.
Yeah, absolutely not.
The actual days have to be engineered to back up the magnitude of that pitch.
And this is where the document becomes a truly fascinating study in cognitive architecture.
Oh, I love that term.
The schedule provided in the source is not a casual list of suggestions for how to pass the time on a boat. It is a highly engineered, emotional, and intellectual journey.
Let's look at that specific sample event schedule from the text.
Let's do it.
Because this is the rhythm of a typical day. And it starts aggressively early.
Yes, it does.
7:30 a.m., the recharge. 9:00 a.m., the breakfast dialogue. 10:30 a.m., the mastermind. 12:30 p.m., the rest. 2:30 p.m., the think tank. 4:30 p.m., the solo pivot.
And then wrapping up the formal day at 7:00 p.m. with the connection.
I mean, wow.
The first thing to observe here is the typographical choice.
You mean the capitalization?
Yes. The capitalization and the definitive word "the" in front of every single event.
Right. It's not just breakfast. It is the breakfast dialogue. It sounds like an ancient Greek philosophical summit.
And by naming it the breakfast dialogue, the organizers are utilizing what's called the framing effect.
Okay, break that down for me.
Well, in a standard hotel conference, breakfast is just a logistical necessity. People stumble down in sweatpants, they grab a stale bagel.
They stare at their phone.
Exactly, they avoid eye contact entirely. But by elevating the title, they are framing the consumption of calories as an active, mandatory networking opportunity.
So you are expected to be on.
You are expected to sit next to a stranger and immediately engage in high-level discourse about your business models.
I'm exhausted just thinking about that. I mean, you wake up, maybe do the recharge.
Which I assume is the group workouts or yoga they mention in the text.
Right. And then you are immediately thrust into heavy strategic networking over eggs. And then at 10:30 a.m., you go straight into the mastermind.
Without a break.
By noon, my brain would be completely fried. Like, done.
Which brings us to the most vital component of this entire schedule.
What's that?
At 12:30 p.m., they have scheduled 2 full hours dedicated simply to the rest.
Yes, 2 hours of the rest right in the middle of the day. I have to ask, is that just a fancy way of saying, go take a nap in your cabin?
Well, it might involve a nap, but from a neurological perspective, it is actually a cognitive necessity.
Really? A necessity.
Yes. When you are engaged in an environment of intense networking,
Yeah.
especially when the marketing has explicitly primed you to feel like every single conversation could be the one opportunity that catapults your career.
Oh, that's a lot of pressure.
It is. Your brain's executive function is operating at maximum capacity. You are processing high-level industry insights. You are managing complex social dynamics.
You're probably hyper aware of your own professional inadequacies.
Absolutely. And you are trying to project total confidence on top of it all.
So your cognitive load is just maxed out.
Completely maxed out. If the organizers push the attendees straight from the mastermind at 10:30 a.m. into the think tank at 1:00 p.m., they would experience severe diminishing returns.
Because they'd just be too tired.
They would be cognitively depleted, irritable, and genuinely incapable of absorbing new information. They would burn out before the ship even reached the Bahamas.
So what is actually happening in the brain during the rest of, like, why 2 whole hours?
During unstructured downtime, the brain activates what neuroscientists call the default mode network, or the DMN.
The DMN?
Yes. When you stop focusing actively on a specific external task like networking or listening to a lecture, the DMN takes over. It is responsible for daydreaming, self-reflection, and most importantly, the consolidation of memory and the synthesis of disparate ideas.
Oh, wow.
So the rest is incubation time. It's the period where the brain takes the aggressive external input from the morning and weaves it into the individual's long-term strategic understanding.
I see. So the downtime isn't a break from the work. The downtime is where the actual work of learning happens.
Precisely. It gives the central nervous system a chance to downregulate, dropping cortisol levels back to baseline, before they are asked to dive back into the intellectual deep end at 2:30 p.m. for the think tank.
Man, think about your own typical Tuesday afternoon.
Right.
How often do you get a scheduled, sanctioned 2-hour block to just let your default mode network take over?
Never.
Most of us are just running from email to email, totally ignoring the biological limits of our focus.
Which is why we're also burnt out.
Exactly. But the schedule doesn't stop there. The one that genuinely stopped me in my tracks is at 4:30 p.m.
The solo pivot.
Yes. The solo pivot. What on earth is a solo pivot on a cruise ship surrounded by thousands of people?
Well, in the lexicon of business strategy, a pivot is a fundamental structural shift in direction based on new data.
Okay, sure.
By scheduling the solo pivot late in the afternoon after a full day of group dialogue, masterminds, and think tanks, they are carving out structured, independent time for integration.
Give me a real-world translation of what that looks like on the ship.
It is the transition from the theoretical to the practical. You have spent the whole day hearing massive ideas about scaling, marketing, and influence.
Yeah, really big picture stuff.
And the risk of these conferences is that people get overwhelmed by the big ideas and do absolutely nothing with them.
Oh, I've been to conferences like that. You leave feeling pumped, but nothing changes.
Exactly. So the solo pivot is a mandate to be alone. You take your notebook, you find a chair looking out at the ocean, and you answer the question, how does this apply to my specific salon in Ohio?
Okay, so so what do you actually get to do about it, hour?
Yes. You figure out exactly what service menu you are rewriting, or what employee you need to fire, or what marketing campaign you are launching the second the ship docks.
Wow.
And once you have solidified that personal clarity, you are thrust back into the group dynamic at 7:00 p.m. for the connection.
Which clearly denotes the evening social events, dinners, and nightlife.
Right.
It's an incredibly intense, enforced pendulum swing. Group processing, heavy intellectual intake, biological rest, heavy intellectual work, solo application, and finally, social networking.
Rinse and repeat for 4 days.
It's the architecture of transformation.
They are attempting to compress years of slow, painful business evolution into a 96-hour window.
It is a beautiful theory. Really, it is. But reading through all these lofty titles, the mastermind, the think tank, the solo pivot,
Yeah.
it makes me wonder what actually survives the trip back to reality.
That's the real question.
Right. You could talk about building an empire while you're staring at the ocean, but what happens when you unlock the door to your salon on Tuesday morning and the hot water heater is broken?
A very grounded reality check.
Exactly. Which brings us to a crucial part of the source text, the proof in the pudding. What do the attendees actually take away from this gauntlet?
Well, the promotional materials include specific reviews and testimonials from past attendees.
Which I loved reading.
Analyzing the content of these reviews gives us a very clear, unfiltered picture of whether the organizers are successfully delivering on their massive promises or if it's just a fun vacation with a business tax write-off.
The reviews in the source material are a fascinating, almost comical mix of extremes.
They really are.
On one hand, you have the standard cruise ship fare, people saying things like literally the best vacation and many incredible new friends.
Standard stuff.
But then you dig into the longer testimonials, and the tone shifts dramatically. One attendee wrote a detailed review praising the connections and the renewed passion for the industry. And right in the middle of it, completely unprompted, they drop this massive statement. They say, realizing I'm ready for financial freedom.
That is an astonishing phrase to find in a review for a cruise.
Right.
Financial freedom is not a tourism metric. It is an economic identity shift. That is the exact empire-building mindset the marketing copy was engineered to produce.
Yes, I am ready for financial freedom. That is a life-altering macro-level realization. But then, literally right next to it in the source material, there's a review that is so granular.
Oh, I know the one.
It is so incredibly specific to the trade, it almost gave me whiplash.
Read it.
The reviewer says, we had a great time. I gained a new love for perms.
The perm review is perhaps the most instructive piece of text in the entire document.
Wait, let me read the rest of it because it gets even more
You
specific.
always do.
They write, I do a lot of men's perms, but now I want to get into more long hair women's perms.
I love it.
I love this juxtaposition so much. In one here, you have this sweeping, almost spiritual declaration. I am ready for financial freedom. I am an entrepreneur. I am building my empire.
Yes.
And in the other ear you have, I am super excited about rolling long hair women's perms.
It is a delightful and seemingly absurd contrast, honestly. But it actually reveals a profound truth about how effective professional development must operate.
Oh, really?
Yes, particularly in a service-based industry. To truly accelerate a business, an entrepreneur needs two distinct types of fuel.
Okay, what are they?
They need the visionary and they need the tactical.
Explain how those two things connect. Because to an outsider, financial freedom and long hair perms exist in totally different universes.
Okay, think of it as a map and a vehicle.
A map and a vehicle.
The high-level visionary inspiration, the realization that you want financial freedom, the desire to build a brand, the understanding that you don't have to trade your physical hours for a capped amount of dollars forever, that is the map.
Okay, I follow.
It is the destination. That macro vision is what keeps you resilient when the hot water heater breaks on Tuesday morning.
The vision is the map, but a map doesn't actually move you anywhere.
Exactly. You cannot deposit vision into a bank account.
Fair point.
You need a vehicle to traverse the map, the ground-level tactical skills like learning a highly specific new technique for long hair women's perms. That is the vehicle.
I see.
That is the actual tangible mechanism that will generate new revenue the very next week in the salon.
Okay, so the perm isn't just a hairstyle. In the context of this cruise, the perm is a new revenue vertical.
Precisely. If you only attend events that offer high-level visionary talk, you leave highly motivated, but without any new tools to increase your immediate cash flow.
You have the map, but you are stuck walking.
Conversely, if you only go to technical classes at a local hotel to learn how to cut hair or mix hair color differently, you become an incredibly skilled technician.
Right.
But you might never figure out how to scale your business, hire a team, or achieve financial freedom. You have a fantastic sports car, but you have no idea where you are driving it.
So what this cruise is successfully doing, based on these specific reviews, is delivering both the map and the vehicle simultaneously.
Exactly.
They're using the think tank to give them the macro, change your life mindset, and they're using the technical classes to give them the micro, here is a new service you can charge a premium for next week's skill set.
And you know, the reviewer who wants to transition from men's perms into long hair women's perms has likely identified a higher margin service.
Oh, is it?
Yes, women's chemical services traditionally command a much higher price point than men's.
Right, of course.
So that specific technical skill is the stepping stone toward their broader goal of financial freedom. The organizers are successfully bridging the gap between the philosophical ambition and the practical execution.
That is genuinely brilliant. And, you know, the reviews also heavily emphasize the environment in which all this learning happens.
Yes, the community aspect.
Multiple attendees praised the feeling of family and community. And they note that they were surrounded by amazingly talented people, but those same people were lifting up others in the industry.
It is clear they're curating a very specific, highly supportive vibe.
They really are. But establishing a supportive, high-level community isn't just about throwing nice people in a room together, is it?
No, it requires extreme curation. To get access to this mix of big dreams, technical skills, and supportive community, you have to get past the velvet rope.
And let me tell you, having read the logistics in this document, that velvet rope is thick,
It certainly is.
and the bouncer is not messing around.
Yeah.
So the cruise delivers the map and the vehicle. But here's the catch. You aren't allowed to just buy the car.
No, you are not.
There's an incredibly high wall you have to climb just to get onto the lot. We are looking at the intensely specific logistics, the gatekeeping, and the pricing of getting a ticket to this event.
Because